Hey everyone! So I've heard that you're learning about what fish eat, so I thought I'd do a little video so that you can see what we, on the Tropical Fish Keeping UK team, feed our fish. So you might be on a special diet, but for most people, they need a wide variety of food. So that includes things like fruit, okay? So you might be eating your fruit, you might be eating vegetables, can't forget our carrots. You might be having things like meat, or you can also get, so that's a type of protein, you can also get protein from things like beans. You might enjoy things like rice. Okay, so rice. Or you might like bread or potatoes. Now they're called carbohydrates. And the last group that we as humans need to think about is our oils or our fats. So you might have oil in your cooking, or you might have butter, things like that. Now, fish do have to have a special diet, and it all depends on which fish. But generally, most fish can't eat carbohydrates. So that's your bread, your potatoes, pasta, anything like that. Fish can't do what we call digesting them. So let's have a look and see what we actually feed our fish. This is a betta, or a Siamese fighting fish. Can you see the way his mouth turns up? That means he eats things from the surface, mostly insects. So in a tank he needs to be fed quite a meaty diet, high in protein. And it's not just fish we keep. These are African dwarf frogs. See the way they're fighting over the bloodworm? Don't worry, it's all nice and peaceful. They eat lots of things like insects and worms off the bottom of rivers. These guys don't come out the water very often, so everything they eat has to be in the water. And that's a tiny little otter. In the wild, they'd eat mostly algae and things like this, but here he's enjoying a nice slice of cucumber. And this is a ram. They're a type of cichlid, and they eat mostly insects, so they need quite a lot of protein in their diet, so quite a lot of meat. And this is a little gourami. He's got an upturned mouth like the betta, but he can also eat a little bit of vegetables. And here he is stealing a bit of that cucumber for the otter. But normally he'd be eating things like flies or any little worms that might live in the water. And this is a Cory. These are great little guys. They shuffle along, burrow into the sand to find all their food. And again, they mostly eat insects and worms and things like that. These fish all come from Lake Malawi. What's interesting about these is they don't eat any insects or any meat in their diet, and they certainly don't eat other fish. They mostly eat algae and any little things that might be caught in the algae. So they need a diet rich in vegetables and things like that. Oh, they do love their food. And it's not just freshwater fish we keep. Can you recognise any of these fish as living in the ocean? Can you recognise that blue one? May have been a film about fish like that recently. There's no plants in the sea, so these guys eat a lot of meaty products like other fish or insects or things like that. But they might eat a bit of seaweed as well. Can you recognise what that is, hiding in the seaweed? Looks a bit like a bit of weed, doesn't it? Oh, there he is. Yes, you're right, it's a seahorse. You see how tiny his mouth is? That means he has to eat tiny, tiny little crustaceans that are swimming along in the sea. Oh, that's too big. Don't worry, he'll get plenty to eat. He's fed a special tiny, tiny diet to make sure that he's fine with it. He lives with his brother. Anyway, that's a few of our fish and a few of the things we keep. If you've got any questions, don't worry, we're around to answer them. Hope you enjoyed watching it.